pops.
Ah, yeah, man. So anyway, we get to the funeral home, man, and all this shit, and they gave us a paper, because on the paper, the autopsy and all that, it tell you about how they died. Well, this paper was different. It pretty much said the time he died to the time they found him, and it was about a 24-hour gap in between there. So it threw up a lot of flags. It was like, what the fuck, man? This man been dead for this long, and somebody just now noticed it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a big ordeal, man. And I just remember, after when I found out my dad passed away, I got really angry, man, and I started raising chaos. And I had did some fucked off shit, man. It was at a gas station, and I think my mom was going there to get a pack of cigarettes, and there was a elder gentleman there, man, and I don't know if he looked at me wrong or something, but I hit him, bro. I stuck his ass, and he hit that door and busted his nose open. He called the police and things like that, and I come to find out, I ended up hitting the preacher. And I felt so fucked up about that, man. And they called the police, and luckily he ain't pressed charges on me. You know what I'm saying? And the police, they showed do their thing, asked what happened and all that. They say, luckily he ain't finna press charges on you because he understand what you're going through, and apologize to him when I'm about my business, But my grandparents ended up staying down with us about a week or two, And then it came time for the funeral. That my dad's old lady, the one he was supposedly with, she was never, seen again. She was like she went off the face of the earth, so that was another red flag, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories, motherfuckers thinking that, y'all done stabbed my dad before, our son held him down and she stabbed him, once before about 15 times, so that raised the thought, like, did y'all do this to him? You know what I'm saying? So funeral come, my auntie approached my mama. She was like, Dominique don't need to be down here anymore. He's already getting in trouble. He's getting in the streets or shit like that. I think it's time for him to come with us. And, from a mother's standpoint, I think you're trying to take my kid away from me. So they argued about it for a little bit. We come to an agreement. I'm going to go stay with my auntie in St. Louis for a little bit. So funeral get done with, at the time I'm with my ex-girlfriend. We was about 15, 16, I was like with her for like 7 months, went up staying in St. Louis for about a month, with my uncle and things like that. And it's just weird, man, because, you're so used to being somewhere for so long, it's like you don't want to leave there, So I only stayed there for about a month, and I went to her, and I was like, look, I got to go back to Bluff. I can't do this no more. It just don't feel right being here. So I came back to Bluff, and we had just got off the bus because we had ended up renting a bus to go to South Carolina, go down there to the beach for vacation. So and I had talked to her about it. I said, you know what, when we get back, man, I'm gonna go back to Bluff. I'm gonna pack my stuff and go back to Bluff. And that's what I did. But honestly, it was the worst mistake I made because came back down here and I started getting in trouble again, and I went right back to serious, man. And it was just bad, dude. And I didn't think that that would happen. I didn't think that. I thought maybe I'd be cool. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe I just needed a month away. You know what I'm saying, to collect my thoughts. My dad just passed away. I thought maybe I needed a break for a little bit. But come to find out, I probably should have stayed up there. It's probably the worst mistake I made coming back down here. And a couple months after my dad had passed away, man, I started having panic attacks and things like that. And going through depression, staying in bed 24/7, not wanting to eat, not wanting to get up, not wanting to do anything. So I ended up going to talk to my psychiatrist. I've had him since I was 12, being in and out of the boys' home, and he was like, Dom, you're going through depression, you got anxiety, you should let me help. You know, at first my mama was like, "No, I don't want my son on no type of medications." You know, because his dad had a problem with popping pills and things like that, and acting like a zombie from popping medications and shit like that. So it was a no at first, and it got worse and worse. So eventually we all went in there. I believe it was my grandpa. You know, he was like, "Let me help him." So eventually they agreed. Let's help him. So I got enrolled back into high school here in Bluff. I wasn't doing anything when I went there. The first day it was, "Oh man, Dom's back, whoop whoop," and all this and all that. That little pop you get when ain't nobody seen you in forever.
Yeah.
Make everybody excited, shit like that. But I started fucking up about a month or two in, not doing my schoolwork, things like that, and being in and out of series, you got something called a service coordinator, technically like a probation officer, technically, watching over you, supervising you while you're out there in the community. And it got to a point, he was like, "Man, you're not doing anything. You're not working in school. You're not doing nothing. I think it's time for you to go back." Fuck, man, went back. Stayed about 7 months. They told me I wasn't allowed to get released until I got my GED. So as I was sitting in there, I buckled down, did my treatment and things like that, and I passed half of my GED test the first time, and then I had to go back and redo it, passed half of it. The other half that I fucked up on, ended up graduating and shit, and it was most definitely needed, man, because I wasn't in the mindset for school. I was in the mindset of being a goofball, bro. And it was just like, you need to do this. You need to go ahead and get your GED. You don't need to go back to school. You beefing with a lot of motherfuckers, man. You're in the streets and shit like that. You're doing shit you ain't got no business doing. You're hanging around with goofballs that ain't got nothing going for themselves. You may as well just get your GED and just call it that.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question for you. Like, when you was growing up down here, what was the type of people you hung around in?
Man, so shit, man. Growing up, man, I looked up to my older cousin, man. He was always in the streets and shit like that. Gang banging, you know what I'm saying? And, fucking crazy bitches and shit like that. That was my role model, bro. So I ended up following after him. And, my uncle that was in prison, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. I don't know. It's like I fell in love with the lifestyle, the way they was doing things and shit like that. And after a while, it got to that point where it's like, maybe it's time for me to be my own man. And I didn't start becoming my own man until I was like, I hit my early 20s, I'm 21 now, because it's like, man, you need to start being yourself, because who's going to be you, And my cousin was in and out of prison and things like that. I guess eventually it clicked. It was like, that's not the lifestyle for you. You don't need to be doing this shit, So, it's either you're going to end up dead or you're going to go to the penitentiary. It's one of the two, But, I had a group of motherfuckers I ran with and shit like that, man, doing the same shit, smoking weed and shit, fucking dusty hoes and shit like that, doing all that crazy ass shit, man. I done did it all, bro. Getting in the shootouts with motherfuckers, motherfuckers shooting at me and shit like that. I done did all this shit, bro. And then it just comes to a point in your life where it's like, is this shit even worth it anymore? So I don't know, I just cut ties with all that, bro. I had to stop doing this shit because it wasn't cool,
All right, so with all that being said, how did you come up with your name?
My pro wrestler name?
Yeah.
Man, all right, man. So that's actually a good ass question. So anyway, my neighbor, man, I moved up out of my mama's house. We was having a lot of issues. She was struggling with her problems and things like that. I think so. I was like, I think it's time for me to leave. So I went over to my neighbor's house, man. Started living over there, and I was like, Lewis, man, that's his name. I was like, I think I want to start wrestling. So one day we was in his van coming back home, getting something to eat, man, and I was online, man. I was struggling. I was like, man, what would be a good ass wrestling name? What would pop? What would get the audience? You know, man. You know, he's making his way to the ring. You know, so my name's Dom. My real name Dominique, but everybody called me Dom. And I was on a wrestling generator website, just trying to come up with something random, and it popped up Bad Street. So I was like, okay, I grew up on Alice, you know, one of the worst hoods in Power Glove, you know. It was a very bad street. So about Bad Street and Dom. So BadStreetDom, you know what I'm saying? It had a ring to it. So I just kept it, you know. And it just took off from there.
All right, since we covered all that, now on the lines of training, you got any training coming up?
Yeah, man. So anyway, if you watch professional wrestling, then you have to know Harley Race, handsome Harley Race, one of the top dogs in the business. You know, he trained guys like Kurt Hennig, you know what I'm saying, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, worked with a lot of them famous guys, man. Anyway, you know, they got the academy going on in Troy, Missouri. Harley Race Academy. You can check them out online too, HarleyRaceAcademy.com. I reached out to his son. You know, we got to talking things like that. You know, I told him I had previous training in Memphis, and we agreed on me coming up there to work. You know what I'm saying, to get more into mat-based wrestling, more into the professional wrestling side of things than the entertainment side of things. So I'm gonna be up there next week doing some training videos coming soon as well. Be able to work with Harley Race's son, so that's a pretty big thing, you know, working with the son of a legend. So that's gonna be tough. What else we got going on? I got my t-shirts on sale right now. They $25 a piece, so you gotta get you a BadStreetDom tee. You gotta make any color you could think of. So I'm gonna start shipping my shirts out and shit like that. I've sold quite a few of them so far. Gave majority of them out, but sold a few of them so far. So.
All right, and if they want to reach out to you, where can they reach out to you at?
Man, you can check me out on Facebook, man. Actual name, Dominique Santos. Shit. You can check me out on Snapchat, OTF Dom Teddy. I don't really be on Instagram too much, man. I don't really post a lot on Instagram for real, but it's Dom Official 95. You can check me out on there. You can follow me on there.
But as far as that and working with professionals, how do you feel about that?
Man, it's insane, dude, because, you know, like, everybody, you know what I'm saying, that gets to the business talk about, you know, everybody got a dream, man. It just, how are you gonna reach your dream, you know? And I started from scratch, you know what I'm saying? Once again, we'll touch base back on it, you know. There's a guy, his name's Justin Gabriel. A lot of people don't know him. You know, he was in the WWE for a little bit. His name is now PJ Black. You know, I reached out to him. I was like, dude, how do I start? He said, man, you gotta go join a wrestling school. You know, he just cut it to me dry. You know, spending years looking up pro wrestling schools and things like that, and I had to get a start, man. Professional wrestling training is crazy expensive. Without my cougar, man, I wouldn't even be here right now. You know, she opened up.
How much do you think? Like, all right, say if somebody wanted to get into it, what would be your advice to them?
Get into professional wrestling?
Yeah.
I guess my advice to them would be go for it. You know, if it's your dream, go for it. But always make sure you research something before you do it, because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they get into a trial, things like that, they're like, I didn't know it was this. I thought it would be something else, you know, and things like that. My advice pretty much is, man, follow your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Go for it, you know. And business wise, you mainly want to get into professional wrestling while you're young. That's a great way to hit the ground running. Start while you're young. Don't start when you're old, you know. But yeah, best to take off when you're young, for real. And just come prepared, you know what I'm saying? Just be ready for it, because it's gonna hit you hard. You know, it's the business is very complicated. a lot of people, you know, they watch wrestling and be like, oh man, I'm about to go to a pro wrestling school and start beating the shit out of people. The whole time, that's not how it starts off. You know, that comes at a later time. You know, so just be ready to work your ass off for sure.
And all right, so with all that being said, what's your purpose for wrestling?
Man, my purpose of wrestling, man, is to make wrestling great again. You know, the business is getting bigger and bigger, and the opportunity is getting smaller and smaller. You know, these companies got to be able to invest in you. You know, if I can go out there and tell a great story and connect with the audience, that's really what I'm looking for. You know, that's what you want to do. Because you don't get yourself over. They do. They're the ones that promote you and get you over and things like that, and help get you big. You know, so if I can just get in there, man, and make an impact, then that's what's gonna set me off right there, most definitely. A lot of other questions I get asked, you know, it's a normal question. You know what I'm saying? Is wrestling fake? To answer that question, no, it's not fake. We get hurt in there, man. You know what I'm saying? Injuries are real. They happen 24/7. If you're in there working with a guy and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, you're gonna get hurt. You know, so no, it's not fake. Everybody's got these big conspiracy theories if wrestling's fake, or you know, no, it's not fake. It's very complicated. Professional wrestling is psychology. You know, there's a lot to it. You know, and a lot of people think you just go out there and beat somebody's ass and you pin them. You know what I'm saying? And no, it's a lot way more to it than what meets the eye.
And as far as the entertainment side of wrestling, like, all right, to go back on what you said about wrestling being real, I know that's a question that you ask all the time, because even I have my say so about it. I'm like, I know the wrestling is real, but people looking at it, it's entertainment.
Yeah. And there's a reason for that. You know, you see, there's a difference between sports entertainment and professional wrestling. They both go hand in hand. They're both, in a way, the same thing. But professional wrestling is straight wrestling. Sports entertainment is wrestling, but with more theatrical to it. There's more guys, you know, with crazy ass characters, you know, doing crazy shit and stuff like that. You know, the entertainment side of it comes in because, you know, we want to make this entertaining. You know, we go out there on TV. You know, we play these characters and things like that, and the audience is really attracted to that, you know. It's kind of hard to explain, man, because, like, some people, they get curious on it, like, you know, why is this guy dressed like that and things like that. Once again, it goes back to telling a story. This guy's telling a story of his character, you know. So it's a lot to it. Like I said, the business is very complicated. You know, you'd have to really get in there and you know, go behind the scenes to really understand how everything is done. You know, but we go out there, we play characters on TV. You know.
All right, let's backtrack a little bit, because I know I forgot to ask you this question. All right, back to the family part. What is your connection with your family, and how close are y'all?
We're pretty close. My family, some of them are split up. My grandparents live in Kentucky. Two of my mom's sisters live in St. Louis. You know, they got big jobs working for the government. One of them's a surgeon and shit like that. I moved out of my mama's house when I was like, man, about 20 and things like that. I kind of just, you know, left over there to do our own thing, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, don't no grown-ass man need to be living up under their mama no more. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it, because I did it for a long time, you know what I'm saying? But it got to that point where it was just like, I think it's time for me to go out here and be on my own, you know? Let's see, who else I got pretty good family connections with? My baby sister. She's a real big fan of mine, you know what I'm saying? She supports my whole wrestling career and things like that. I missed a lot of her birthdays growing up, man, because I was in and out. You know, I was locked up 24/7. So, you know, I'm really trying to, you know, make up for all the time that I spent away. You know, nowadays I'm trying to get back into her life and, you know, show her that I am a good role model and there is a better side to me than what she's saying growing up.
So, here's a question for anybody that has a past and wants to achieve a dream. What do you got to say to those people?
Man, don't let your past define you, man. Most definitely. If you got a dream, man, you want to succeed it, you know, work at it, you know. You ain't gonna get nowhere laying up on the couch or laying up under your old lady 24/7. You gotta get your ass up and get out here, hit the ground running. You gotta work at it. You know, it's like anything else. You know, whether you're a bodybuilder, a professional wrestler, a basketball player, you gotta start somewhere. You just gotta get up. I mean, that's cutting it dry right there. You gotta get up, man. My dad always told me, man, you can do anything if you set your mind to it. And I've always lived by that because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather always told me keep God first. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I've been taking real serious here recently. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the man above first and things like that. Because without him, none of this would be possible. You know, so always keep God first. You know what I'm saying? Dream and dream big. You know what I'm saying? And work hard to achieve your dream.